What do you do when you have a 10-year gap in your job history? 10 years. How do you fill out a resume? What I did, I put that I went on a sabbatical. And it was nice because what happened was it generated a little bit of interest. And so the people that interviewed me, they would always ask, tell me about this sabbatical. To which I would respond, well, I did a lot of drugs and I made a lot of really, really bad decisions. But I learned a lot about myself. And so I'd like to take a minute and just let you know about a couple of the most valuable lessons that I learned during my sabbatical. Lesson number one I learned was honesty. Now, when I refer to honesty, I'm not referring to, the lying to your family, lying to friends that everyone kind of thinks of. I'm referring to the duplicity of ourselves. When I was homeless in Florida, I was living in Tampa and in some woods. And we'd leave and get all our food and drinks from either Walmart or the gas station across the street. And one day I walked into the gas station, I grabbed my Powerade and I kind of shuffled out the door a little bit after I paid for it. Now, I used to keep my money in one of those little pocket-sized Bibles, the ones that, they have the Psalms and Proverbs in the New Testament. And I used it because I wanted to open it and realize that I served the God and not the money inside of it. And when I was shuffling out the door and the gas station attendant said, can you believe how messed up that guy was? And he kept his money in a Bible too. I remember the sting that it had on me because I wasn't the person that I believed I was. And so this really was a catalyst to this next stage of my life, where I'll tell you about the second lesson, or one of the values that I learned, and that's of curiosity. Now, when I was in rehab, it's really funny how sometimes when we go into these stages of life that we've been there before. Like that deja vu feeling. Like this time, it was just so familiar. When I walked in, there was these steps, and they went like this, and there was a little landing here, and then they went up the other way, and you could overlook like a loft style into the whole entire rehab. And on each side, you had these steps, and so they would line us all up in front of each steps facing outward so they could do roll call. And one day I was standing there, staring right there in the front of the line at the end of the landing, and I realized that this was the memory. This is what was so familiar that I saw. It was a memory of a dream I had. And so I believed that I had been there before, and it was vitally important that I really took charge and took advantage of the time that I had there. And so when everyone else was watching TV, I was studying. I was studying fitness and nutrition. I was studying Greek. I was studying the Bible. I was studying Benjamin Franklin. I was studying how to write poetry. I mean, literally anything I could wrap my hands around, anywhere my curiosity led me, I studied. And so the second value that I learned is that of curiosity. It's a sign of a healthy mind. Now, the third value that I learned in the next stage of my life after I got out of rehab. And this is of gratitude. It's really crazy because gratitude is one of those things that it's really easy to be thankful for things that are given to you that are good. Someone gives me a present and I enjoy it and I say thank you, I appreciate it. Someone does my dishes for me and I'm like, I love that, thank you. But what if someone gives us something that doesn't produce pleasure, that produces pain? How are we thankful for that? And so my pastor actually told me a story that I want to tell you, and it's perfect. It takes place in a school setting. You have a student and a teacher. And the student looks to the teacher and asks a question that many of us probably have asked in our life. Why do bad things happen? To which the teacher responded. He says, have a seat. Let me tell you a story. There's a messenger, and this messenger, his sole duty is to deliver this message to this particular destination. And accompanying the messenger is a valiant white army. And this army's sole purpose is to make sure this messenger delivers his message. Now, they're marching for years and years, and it's pretty uneventful, but all of a sudden on the horizon they see a bold black army and they're marching, and as they get closer and closer, tension rises and it gets stronger and stronger until they're right there in front, and the battle ensues, and they fight and they fight and they fight, but that valiant white army keeps making progress. They keep moving forward, and finally they arrive to their destination in complete exhaustion. The messenger collapses, and he gets up and he looks and he notices that the black army is walking away. But the thing that confuses him is he removes his white or his black garment, and underneath is none other than another white army. He runs up to the leader of this white army, and he's confused and he's angry, and he says, "Why would you try to prevent me from getting to my destination?" To which the leader of the white army, with the utmost respect, as if talking to an authoritative figure, says, "Sir, I'm sorry, but we arrived to the destination, and it wasn't my purpose to prevent you from getting here. It was my duty to make sure you arrived on time." And so the student looks to the teacher, a little confused, and the teacher responds with just a few select words in the form of a question. He says, "Can you be thankful?" And the student walks to his seat, and he understands. And so looking back into my life, I can see that the person I am today, I would have never been without the resistance and the pressures that I had to go through before. And so I can be thankful that I went through that, because I like who I am now and I like where I'm going. And so even today, when I go through different tribulations, different trials and tests in my life, I can, even if I don't understand it completely, I can be thankful, because I can understand and have faith that when I arrive to my destination, I'm going to be exactly who I was created to be. And I'm being formed to this particular person. And so the three values, the three lessons that I think that everyone should have to learn or can learn from my sabbatical and not have to go through a sabbatical themselves, is that of self-honesty and of a healthy curiosity, and to be thankful for not just the bad things that happen, but also the good.